Hi everyone, so welcome back to the channel. Hope this video is finding you all well. Today I'm going to be making some miniature vases. For these I'm going to be using the spalted beech and the coloured plywood blocks that I use for my bottle stoppers and bottle openers and other coloured giftware. So yeah, going to start with the red and black, moving through to the pink, and then going to finish with that spalted beech. So I'm going to get those mounted on the lathe, we'll get those ready to start turning. But if I can ask a little favour before I start, if you could please like and subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell notification, that'll let you know every time a video goes live. Every like, every comment is greatly appreciated. I know some of you have been commenting sort of since day one, and for that I do sincerely thank you for that. For the people that are just finding this video for the first time, you know, it would mean a lot if you could like and subscribe. Hit that little bell notification, be greatly appreciated. So I'm going to get those pieces mounted on the lathe and we can start turning. So here we have the initial shape being turned. With any piece that I'm turning, the first thing I do is actually get it back to a cylindrical shape. Just take those corners and edges off. It's just a bit easier to work with, and also you know how much material you're going to have to play with. As you start removing, the diameter does get smaller, so you want to make sure you've got enough to make the project as effectively as possible. So yeah, just using the square-headed carbide chisel on this one. I did originally start by using the traditional chisels, and then I did have them sharpened, and since I'd had them sharpened, they've not felt the same. So I think I need to take them to another sharpener, just have them refinished. So you can see there that I'm just making the initial shape. It's coming along quite nicely. You can see it's very defined, and it's got that really nice sort of classical style that a vase would have. So it sort of starts with that little lip, goes into the neck, and then round at the shoulder, and goes down towards the base. So here I'm just trimming it down, just getting rid of the excess, and then from that point I can then remove it from the block itself. And also just working here on that top section, just slowly working the material away, and then getting ready to bore the hole into it. So here I have a 13mm drill bit, and we're just going to work our way from the front all the way down to the back. Got to be careful because of the way the drill bit is designed. It's got that very long pointy section, and if I go too deep I'm actually going to poke that straight through the bottom of the vase. And then just here giving it a really thorough sanding. Only showing a small proportion of the sanding in this video, just because 3 lots of sanding from coarse to fine is a little bit repetitive. Although the initial shaping is different on each one, it is quite repetitive to see, you know, 15 minutes of just me sanding it down. There's no real change to the shape or the design of the vase from this point on. So here, just putting on that sanding sealer. As this is not being used for any type of food goods, I'm going with the cellulose sanding sealer. Just gives a really nice durable finish and also comes up to a very high shine. Then using a bit of the Yorkshire grit. The main purpose of the Yorkshire grit is actually to buff that cellulose sealer and give it an even brighter finish. So you can see there it's got that beautiful shine on the neck and the high sections. A little bit of hard wax. I use the hard wax first just because it's a very durable wax, and then give it a really nice buff. Another reason for using the hard wax first is I then move on in a couple of seconds to using the softer wax, and I find what happens is when you put the softer wax on, you get a double shine, so it almost acts as a lubricating agent for that harder wax and just really makes the piece pop. And you can see there, those high points and those shine marks are even brighter, and it's got a beautiful glossy finish. And just give it that really nice final buff, and then I'll just trim a bit more of that material off at the base, ready to cut off with a tenon saw. So yeah, just taking that down to a very fine point, but not so fine that it flies off the lathe and causes any damage to the piece. I learnt from that trumpet vase I made a few months ago, it's a very dangerous game to play. So now moving on to the pink, and the pink's coming out really nicely on this one. It's got that lovely colourway with the orange and the red in there as well. So again, just getting it down to that initial cylindrical shape, and then I can actually design the vase itself. So you can see that initial shape coming in. It's still very, very large. It does need a bit of finesse and a bit of refining, and also needs to be made a bit thinner. So I do miss out on a bit of the footage here, so you will see this come back in its final form. I must admit I'm not overly happy with the final form. I do find it a little bit of an unusual shape, and I think what I should have done was gone in for that really nice deep angle and then have a very straight angled base, giving that beautiful Art Deco style. This seems to have a bit more of a sort of gobletty feel to it. So yeah, it's not bad, but I mean it's not 100% happy. And then again, just boring out the core, just making sure I don't pierce through to the base. And then a nice bit of sanding there. Again, starting with that really coarse tape and moving down into those finer grits until we're at a really nice smooth finish. And then it is sealed, waxed and polished, ready to go. Okay, so here is the spattled beech vase that we're making now, and again a really nice vase this one. You know, starting off again with that smoothing down finish, get that lovely cylindrical base. From there we can then build up into a finished piece. Quite a bit more material lost on this one. It was a bit of an unusually shaped piece of timber, and it was actually an offcut from a previous project. So with the channel I do try and use as much of the material as possible and waste as little as possible. Sort of getting away with that, but I know that there are some times where in wood turning you do have to lose quite a bit of material to get the desired shape. At this point it is starting to look a bit like a chess piece, but it'll soon start to be turned into its final form. And the nice thing with the spattle beech is it is very easy to work. It's got that lovely soft finish. It's that very nice soft timber. And yeah, it just has a really nice way of working with it. Also for this video I did put some brand new cutting blades on, and that seems to have done a better job with the chipping. Normally with spattle beech I do get quite a bit of chipping on this one, but this piece has actually come out really nicely. Not too much chipping coming through, which is nice to see. So here, just drilling the hole through, and again just being very cautious that that drill bit doesn't go too deep and actually cut through into the bottom of the vase. And then again we're going to have another sanding session, get that really nice and smooth, and then we'll get some sanding sealer, bit of Yorkshire grit on there, get a nice sheen, and then some hard wax and some soft wax just to finish off. Okay, so there we have our finished pieces. I've got to admit my favourite one is this red and black vase. It's just got that really beautiful classic style to it. Lovely and smooth. Did spend quite a bit of time sanding it. The bottom is slightly askew, so it does have a very slight wobble to it. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to mount that onto my brand new belt sander, and that'll take that down to a nice flat finish. But no, that one has come out really, really nicely. The pink one is a little bit disappointing. I was trying to go for that beautiful trumpet vase look, but missed the mark slightly, made it a little bit too rounded down on the base. Should have kept it a nice straight line and then shot out at the bottom. Looks more like a chalice, but again, still has a very nice look to it. And then drilled through in the center, so you can see there is a little bit of a hole and a slight recess at the bottom, but that one does sit much nicer. Only a very, very minor wobble on that one. You know, to sand these down on the bases, I was using a handheld disc sander, so it hasn't given a perfectly flat finish. But getting it onto my brand new belt sander and just a couple of passes will get that to a really smooth finish. The spalted beech came out really nicely. I was originally looking at doing a perfume bottle with this one, but as I started turning, it just lent itself more to this sort of almost tulip shaped head, and then you've got that lovely little base there at the bottom. It's got a good bit of depth to it, and then it's got that lovely finish there on the top. Just finishes that piece off nicely, and that one actually has a very nice stand to it. Again, very, very minor wobble, but nothing major. Again, a couple of passes on the belt sander will sort that out. But a beautiful grain work in there as well, almost like marble. Just a beautiful timber to work with. So yeah, I do need to sign them, but then that's them completely finished. But of course, there's no point sanding the bottom and then sanding it again. Sorry. There's no point in signing the bottom and then sanding it again, because I'll just sand off my signature. And I do like to sign every piece that I make. I don't necessarily show it in the video, but every piece I make does get some sort of signature to show that it's a piece I've created. It's just a nice little touch as well to give that handmade finish. Yeah, so I think my favourite is definitely the red and the black. I do have a secondary part to this lined up, but that won't be for a little while yet, where I'll be using these for something else. Not going to give too much away. But yeah, it should be a really interesting little piece, and these will blossom over time. So yeah, superb, really happy with those. I'd give this one a 9 out of 10 because it just needs that base flattening, but otherwise I'd say it's perfect. This one, although in construction is really nice, the shape just doesn't really do much for me. So I'd probably give that a 6.5 to 7, probably being a little bit too harsh on that one, but it doesn't do much for me. And this one, again, a beautiful finish. Did spend that little bit more time sanding, and boy did that pay off. I'd give that a strong 8.5, just under my favourite. So yeah, 9, 8.5, and I'd say 6.5 on that one, because I'm not overly happy with it. But once I've done what I plan to do with it, it won't make any odds. So I hope you've enjoyed watching the video. If you have, if you could please like and subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell notification, that'll let you know every time a video goes live. I'll have another project video coming out in 2 weeks. They come out every 2 weeks on a Friday. And yeah, going to have some really funky, fun stuff coming. I know it's been a little bit repetitive and the videos have been slightly different, and for that I apologise. Have had a few little time management issues, as I have, if you haven't already noticed, started a second channel purely on Pokemon card unboxing, and that has taken quite a bit of my time, and there's been a little bit too much time devoted to the new channel and not enough devoted to this one. So I'm going to make that right, get a few nice projects out there. And a little bit of breaking news, I will be making another 12 item. I know it is June, please don't have a go, but I will be doing another round of the 12 makes of Christmas. It is a little early to be saying it, but you know, I've got to start planning these things very early in advance, because 12 videos in 12 days is a big undertaking, especially with, you know, everything else going on at the minute. But that is definitely going ahead this year. Going to have some great items. Don't want to give too much away, but it will be on a similar theme to last year. So it will be giftware and Christmas decoration orientated, but hopefully with some really fun and inventive flares in there as well. So thanks for watching. If you're watching this in the morning, then please enjoy the rest of your day. If you're watching in the afternoon or evening, then have a good night. Stay safe, take care, look after yourselves, and I'll see you for the next video.